Hello, everyone, and welcome to True Sports Hockey's The Face-Off, brought to you by Pickups. I'm your host, Lucas Curtelli, and with me today is Stefan Leo, Celine Chamarki, and Steele Roden. And today, guys, we are going to look at the top 5 picks in the NHL Draft. And let's start with number 1, the New York Rangers pick Alexis Lafreniere. And Steph, what is he going to bring to that Rangers squad next season?
I mean, it's an interesting look, Lucas, because what's going to come down to is the New York Rangers, or are the New York Rangers going to force him to play the center of the ice? And if they are, who knows what he can bring to the game? He has felt more comfortable along the wing. You see how much more dynamic he is. And yes, he can play that 200-foot style of hockey in the defensive zone, but with a lot more competition in the NHL and bigger players in the center position. And you're so much more heavily relied upon. Now, everything given, Lafreniere should be an elite talent, but can he do it in the center of the ice and really control the center of the ice, especially with Mika Zibanejad kind of taking over in the New York Rangers system right now? It's going to be a really weird dynamic. You know, they drafted Kaapo Kakko last year. They spent a lot of money on Artemi Panarin, so they almost have to bank on him being able to play the middle of the ice. Will it work? I don't know. Time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, I think Alexis Lafreniere brings an elite status to the New York Rangers, exactly what Stefan just said, joining Mika Zibanejad and Artemi Panarin. He has incredible vision on the ice. We saw that in the World Juniors in under 20 championship. He can throw his weight around on the ice. He's not afraid to, go dig in the corners for the puck and battle and throw his weight around, like I just said. But he's going to bring that elite status. And, we saw what the New York Rangers were doing in the qualifying round against the Carolina Hurricanes. Unfortunately, they got swept, but they're going to be an exciting team to watch in the future, especially with how they're playing and especially with the young goaltenders that they have right now. And, bringing Alexis Lafreniere into that organization and putting him in that system, they're going to be a fantastic organization for a long time.
Yeah, and going off of what you said, Steele, he's an elite competitor, an elite goal scorer. He's elite at handling the puck, and he had back-to-back CHL Player of the Year awards. He had number 1 pick in the QMJHL in 2017, 2018, number 1 rookie in the CHL, then number 1 player in the CHL for 2019, 2020, number 1 player. I could go on and on about how many picks Alexis Lafreniere has had, and he just brings a lot of offensive power, and I can't wait to see how he maneuvers and fits his way into the New York Rangers lineup.
Yeah, that is an amazing resume for Alexis Lafreniere and a great pick by the Rangers. Moving on to number 2, the LA Kings. They pick forward Quinton Byfield, the highest drafted Black player in NHL history. And Celine, what is he going to bring to that LA Kings lineup? He's a big guy, a big centerman, and that's going to prove huge with Anze Kopitar as a great mentor for him.
First things first, I just want to say I cried tears of happiness when Quinton Byfield got drafted because his father is my boss at Toys R Us. But putting that aside, I mean, he is 6'4", 215 pounds, so he brings a big presence on the ice, and he's quick for his side. He's good at puck protection. He can finish. He's a goal scorer, and he has a really accurate shot and such an elite skater. So really, to me, he's just an all-around player, and he's even a good fill-in for Anze Kopitar. If anything ever was to happen to him, he would fit in perfectly. And I'm really curious to see how Drew Doughty will be with Quinton Byfield. I really wonder if Drew Doughty will really make him into a tougher player and use that performance, that presence of a big guy on the ice, and how it will shape him into becoming the player he will be.
You both kind of already touched on my biggest point, which is Anze Kopitar being there to kind of lead the way. But this is a great spot for Quinton Byfield to be in. LA snuck into that number 2 overall pick in the lottery. They weren't supposed to be there. They weren't supposed to be drafting that high. And they get this player who is basically a spitting image of the centerman that took them all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals twice in Anze Kopitar. You have someone who can, be this mold. Just be him. Do what he does. Watch how he operates on a day-to-day basis, and just kind of learn how to be a pro from one of the best two-way centers in the NHL over the last decade. And it fits frame-wise as well. They're both big bodies. They both play a similar style of play. I think this was an excellent pick by the LA Kings.
Yeah, Byfield, he kind of reminds me a lot of Evgeny Malkin. He's big body. He's not the fastest of skaters, but he can make a lot of players on the ice look silly out there with his stick handling ability and the way he positions himself on the ice and fights his way to the front of the net. And, being mentored by someone like Anze Kopitar, who's had an illustrious career, he's going to have a bright future in LA.
Hey, I'm an OMHA guy. I got to see this guy with the York Simcoe Express all the way till now. I'm so happy for him getting drafted number 2. But moving on to number 3, the Ottawa Senators pick one of their 2 picks in the top 5. Number 3, the German Tim Stützle. Steele, what is he going to bring to that Ottawa Senators lineup, who they already have a bushel of great young talent in their system? What can he bring?
Yeah, and what's funny is I was talking to my brother earlier about this, and that everyone from the Ottawa Senators 2017 conference final appearance are just gone. So they've completely rebuilt this team to be younger and faster and more, just compete at a higher level than what they've done. And he brings a lot for the Ottawa Senators on the wing side as a left winger. He's a big guy. He does have a little room to put on some weight there and bulk up a little bit. But, 34 points in 41 games for the Mannheim Eagles in 2019. Fantastic job. I look at him as a Mitch Marner stylist type of player. He fits, not as skilled, I would say, but he fits that type of style. And he's one of the best skaters in this draft. He can change his speed on a dime just like that and make players look silly on the ice as well. He has soft hands, quick stick handling ability. His defensive game does need some work. That is something the Ottawa Senators can address moving forward, but he's going to be great on the wing side for the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, and Steele, he's not only just a left wing, he can play center too. So he's really a dynamic player, and he has such a commanding presence on the ice. And his high-end puck handling and skating abilities is off the charts. And like you were mentioning before, 34 points in 41 games last year. And even when you go to the World Juniors, which he played at, he had 5 points, all assists in 5 games for Germany. So he really does know how to create plays. And I love how you made the comparison between a Mitch Marner. It's perfect.
Well, now I know I'm going to sound a bit like a broken record here, but I just kind of want to go over who the Ottawa Senators finished their season with down the middle of the ice. They had Colin White, Logan Brown, Josh Norris, and Artem Anisimov. Now, Stützle is going to have to come in, much like Lafreniere, and he's going to have to command the middle of the ice. Now, he's another player who's shown, and they've said that he can play center, but he's more comfortable along the wing. So it's a really good pick for the Ottawa Senators, and he should be a really, really good player, and everyone's extremely excited about him. And there's always a weird notion around these 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds that play in the Swedish Elite Leagues or in the Finnish Elite Leagues before their draft season, because their point production isn't going to be those 100-plus points that you're getting in the Canadian Hockey League, but it doesn't mean that they're bad players. William Nylander, his rookie year, when he got drafted by the Leafs, it was a terrible showing in Sweden that year, but it's because you're playing with grown men, and it takes time to develop. So the fact that Stützle was able to put up so many points in the Swedish Elite League, he had 34 points in 41 games. He should be an extremely exciting player to watch. Like I said, it's all going to be about if they can command the middle of the ice, though, because Ottawa clearly needs help in the center position.
Watch out for those Germans, guys. He is tied with Leon Draisaitl as the highest drafted German-born player. So Germany is really taking over the NHL as we speak. Now, let's move on to number 4, and a little bit of a surprise with the Detroit Red Wings. Me personally, I thought Cole Perfetti was going in this spot, but Steph, Detroit took Lucas Raymond. Why?
I wish I knew the answer to that question, because I really don't get it. Like, you look at what Detroit has as a whole, and they're not lacking necessarily wingers. They drafted Philip Zadina last year. They have Anthony Mantha, who's arguably their best player, and then you have Tyler Bertuzzi. Where you're lacking is down the middle of the ice, and their D-core is abysmal. They're terrible on the defensive side of the puck, and you have 2 of the best defensemen in the draft still available on the board for you there. I think Steve Yzerman just missed, and we'll kind of get to that after, because I think the Ottawa Senators missed on pick number 5 as well, because I don't know how Jamie Drysdale's on the board at pick 4 here, and the Detroit Red Wings don't take him. I don't get it. I don't see where the appeal was. Their top 6 to end the season was Patrick Nemeth, Philip Hornick, Dennis Cholowski, Madison Bowie, Mark Stahl, and Danny DeKeyser. That is not a good defensive unit at all. And you have a chance to draft a big-time playmaker in Drysdale or Sanderson, and you just pass up on it. Stevie Y has gotten a lot of praise from me lately, but I don't know if I can agree with this pick by the Red Wings.
I was also a little confused by this pick. I really thought, like Stefan said, it was going to be Cole Perfetti, or in my opinion, I thought it was going to be Marco Rossi, who had a phenomenal career as well. It was really strange because it's not like Lucas Raymond's a bad player. He is a great player, but he also didn't get, enough time to showcase how much skill he has. He was playing with a lot of older guys on Frölunda, and that just, it put him back where he wasn't able to showcase the skills that he has. He's a great player, but like Stefan said, to have Jamie Drysdale and Jake Sanderson on the board as well as Cole Perfetti and Marco Rossi, and you go with Lucas Raymond, I think they really missed on this one.
Yeah, and with the 5th pick now, let's move on to the Ottawa Senators. They're second in the top 5, and they take Jake Sanderson. And I see Steph, he's saying, bring it to me.
Bring it back,
Steph,
to me. Bring it back to me.
What happened there? I know Jamie Drysdale is one of that swift moving defenseman. He's going to get a lot of points in the NHL with the Anaheim Ducks at 6, but they picked Jake Sanderson. Why?
Look, I kind of get it. You have Thomas Chabot, and you want the yin to the yang. Sanderson's a little bit bigger, a little bit more physical. But you just drafted 2 left defensemen, so they're not going to play together. Jamie Drysdale's a right shot. He could have been that pair or that partner for Thomas Chabot, and you lock in your top 2 defensemen for the next century, Ottawa, and they're going to be really, really good, puck-moving, skilled, talented defensemen. I mean, it should be a good pick regardless, but all year, Jamie Drysdale has been the higher-ranked defenseman. What he did in Erie was really, really good, and he showed that he can get it done on both sides of the puck. He led Canada at the Ivan Holinka. He's showed that he has leadership qualities as well. And like I said, it's just the right shot with the left shot in Chabot. It made too much sense to me. For them to take Sanderson, I was a little bit caught off guard. But like I said, I kind of understand the whole yin to the yang. You want a bigger, more physical defenseman to play with Chabot when he's going to kind of take the lead with moving the puck. But you know what's better than one really good puck-moving defenseman, Lucas? 2 of them.
Stefan, I have to agree with you again here. You took the words right out of my mouth. And the big thing for me here is that the Ottawa Senators have too many left shot defensemen here. And like we know with a lot of teams in the NHL right now, it is hard to come by a right shot defenseman in the league right now who can be an elite player. Like Erik Karlsson, Brent Burns is up there as well, Drew Doughty, Alex Pietrangelo. It's hard to come by players like those, and that's who Jamie Drysdale, who I'm comparing to, is those guys right there. He's big on the defensive zone, but he is great offensively as well. 9 goals in 2019 for the Erie Otters, 7 goals in 2018 for the Erie Otters, 47 points in that 2019-20 season. He brings a lot to the table. But like I said, the Ottawa Senators have too many left shots. They have Boretsky, who's attempting to go to free agency and what he can do there. Maybe he comes back if he doesn't get any options from other teams. But Thomas Chabot, England, Hainsey, Riley, Wolanin. You have Zaitsev as well, but he's a right shot. So you only have a very small quantity of players who shoot right shot in this draft right now. They take Jake Sanderson, who's a left shot, who doesn't put as much points up as Jamie Drysdale does, but he does bring the same amount to the table as well. He's going to be a great defenseman, but I would have liked the Ottawa Senators there to choose Jamie Drysdale, right shot defenseman, to join Thomas Chabot on the top pairing.
Yeah, Jamie Drysdale, he's a quick skater, gets back into position fast. And like you were saying, he's an offensive blue liner who can run a power play. He had 47 points last year compared to Sanderson, where it wasn't as many. But I mean, he's still a very good player. He's a powerful skater. He's an offensive threat, and he knows how to shut down the D. And he's really good at it in his own end. And plus, his father, Jeff Sanderson, was a hockey player. So, I mean, if that's not already an advantage for Jake Sanderson to learn from and to get better, I don't know what is. So, I mean, I really feel like Jake Sanderson, yes, you want Drysdale, but I think Sanderson is still a good choice for the Ottawa Senators.
And all this talk of Drysdale, he went number 6 to the Anaheim Ducks. At 7, the Devils took Alexander Holtz with 8. The Buffalo Sabres take the dynamic Jack Quinn. I always liked them in the OHL. At 9, the Minnesota Wild steals Minnesota Wild, take Marco Rossi. And at number 10, Cole Perfetti, a great pickup for them as well. As we wrap up this top 5 NHL draft reaction. Thank you, Celine, Steele, and Steph. I'm Lucas Curtelli, and that was the Face Off presented by Pickups.